The officials have officially closed down one of the Spaza shops. We are now at a second location, and it's even worse than the first. When you speak about the issue of contamination as well as residents as well, and what they've had to say, many are quite upset in regards to the closure and this inspection as it follows. Many of them saying that it shouldn't just come after tragedy has to hit the community for them to feel as though a more proactive approach needs to be taken by officials. But I'm going to walk you through just this second location, and it doesn't really need an expert to tell you just about some of the alarming conditions over here. In fact, one of the first things that were picked up, as I've mentioned throughout this inspection, that officials have been combing through these food items one by one, checking expiration dates. Some of them don't have them. Many of them have been rubbed off. They've also been complaining about issues of packaging, saying that some of these products are not in their original packaging. Some of them don't even have barcodes, which makes it very difficult to trace this food item. Among some of the other issues that were picked up just from this Spaza shop alone, apart from its dilapidating roof, which has holes in it and gaping gaps as well, where food items are sitting directly, you can only imagine the kind of things that would be able to have access into the Spaza shop directly to food items and sources. It's also the issue of the discoloration of some food items. As I've mentioned earlier, some of these food products not having barcodes or even expiry dates at all. There was also quite an alarming shelf where there were actual cleaning supplies, chemical supplies sitting directly next to food items, being sauces, tomato sauces, mayonnaise as well. Another big one has also been the damaging of tin items, pilchards, beans in these tin items that have been damaged entirely. And this is essentially the process we're seeing. This is in fact the Spaza shop owner. We're going to try to speak to him. Sir, I mean, what is happening right now? We've seen the inspection, the guys, what are they telling you to do with these food products now? What are they telling you to do with these items? What are you doing with these items?
I want to cancel this.
They want to?
Cancel.
And where are you taking it?
To return this.
Yeah. And what are they saying? Are they going to tell you to close down your Spaza shop?
Yeah, I don't know when open now.
Yeah, and this really has been the reaction from many of these Spaza shop owners. As you understand, this is a sting operation, many of them caught off guard and having to be told by officials the direct issues and the direct, one could say, significant health risk and hazards that they are posing to the community. It really, Iman, would not need a health expert when we walked into this specific Spaza shop to see that this is a clear violation of even not just health and safety, but also just the conditions in which some of these food items are placed. But again, it also stems to the issue of the community. If they had not been able to see this, if this is not troubling for them, many of them saying that they don't mind this, many of them saying that they need these sort of establishments. But again, that issue that was raised of saying that it should not just be a compliance that is done off the back of the fact that there was tragedy within a community and that there are still investigations happening, but rather it should be a regular operation that is done to curb what is really a mushrooming crisis in terms of Spaza shops, especially in townships where there is very, a lot of lack of compliance. And so what we do know officially from the officials here, they say that they will be taking some of the food items here that is under investigation. They will be testing them as well to check for any contamination as well, and to also investigate where these food products are from. They've been asking the Spaza shop owners as well, do you have any sort of proof of purchase? Where are you buying this from? Which warehouses are you getting it from? Many of them have been unable so far to actually provide that documentation to the officials. That was in fact the first one that we're at, and that was the reason cited by officials why it had to close. They could not verify or provide any paperwork in regards to where they are getting their supplies from some of the items that have been questioned here.
So many things have gone wrong, and I think the thing that resonates the most, Veronica, is that community members have been lamenting the quality of products that they purchase, the ambiguity around whether something has expired or not. You're sharing with us that officials are seeing that the expiration dates either don't exist or there have been attempts made to rub that off. You're hearing from one owner, or ostensibly one of the owners there, who are saying he's now going to cancel those goods. Why are they on the shelf in the first place? Why are community members having to complain about the same thing consistently, year in and year out? And this is, again, this can be a tinderbox. We've seen in the past where the community has raised issues like this, and that's, that's resulted in a great deal of anger and a great deal of violence in our communities. This is a risk that Spaza shop owners are placing not only on their own lives, but everyone else in the community who would get caught up in the reaction to the fact that they are being sold things that they should not be sold in the first place.
Certainly, Iman, and I think one of the big things as well that has come out from just this raid alone and looking at the conditions of the Spaza shop, it also says a lot in terms of officials, councillors, even local councillors, who would allow community members, who would allow children, families to get their products from a place that is shoddy, to say the least. It says also the dignity as well, apart from the health risk that have been attached to these kind of operations, these kinds of establishments. It's also the dignity of a community. What does it say as well of local leaders to allow family members, to allow community members to buy from places where you can clearly see that this product shouldn't be sold to people? It says a lot about the way in which we also view our communities and their access essentially to food, their access to dignity, their access to health and safety, Iman. But as we continue to walk through, trying to make our way through some of these tight corridors, you can see that some of the food here that has been supplied, when we were speaking earlier to one of the residents saying that some of them, the expiration date is from at least last year already. It's things that should definitely not be on the shelves. And they continue, of course, to ask the Spaza shop owner to account for these items that we're looking at right now. In fact, this is oil, cooking oil, an essential for any South African household, and essentially explaining that some of these products are not right. And you'd also imagine as well, Iman, that most of the food items that you find in Spaza shops are what we'd honestly call, a food basket. We're looking at your basic items, bread, rice, beans, things that are able to feed large families in quantities. And so when issues of contamination arise, it also then creates an issue of just how many people can be affected, how many households at one time can be affected by this. And so we continue to watch the officials as they raid. Again, a very different sense from last week when community members themselves had to take this approach. This time we're seeing it as a more law enforcement operation. It's calmer, but what it does also bring is accountability as these Spaza shop owners are asked item by item, why is this expired? Why is this sitting in this shelf? Why is there milli meal directly sitting on the floor? And I can tell you, Iman, speechless is all we're getting from the owner, not being able to account, not even being able to speak back to say, look, this is the situation. And it says really a lot in regards to where we need to be in terms of accountability for the kind of conditions we allow our communities, our families to live in.
Shop owners who will sell things that are year-long expired, we're talking about 1 or 2 food items. It seems like there are a number of items that particular owner is removing from the shelves, speaks to and demonstrates the absolute disdain that those suppliers have for the health and safety of the community, the dignity and the respect that they should have to be able to provide those services to our communities. You talked about accountability. We also need consistency, Veronica, in terms of these enforcement operations. And we can see the scale of the problem is big. Our Veronica Mkhwadi out and about for us in Naledi, Soweto, where an enforcement campaign being driven by the Consumer Goods Council, together with law enforcement, is currently underway. We'll leave it there for now and come back later.
And as if it happens, if we just straight. If we just straight. As if we just... show here this? Why not show it up?
I'm not like that one.
Why you throw here?
Okay. I think that's like just this one.
No, not just in here. Okay. Not just in here. You're gonna kill my son here. If you come to son, you're gonna take the cheese.
Just that this one. So, yeah. I'm going later.
Oh yeah, go here.
I want.
Take the chips, then come back. You're gonna throw here. You're gonna keep the guy. The son.
Okay, but brothers, sorry.
Take it, the chips.
Okay, wait.
When I rock these borders, like let's say I rock these borders at night.
This is killing our
I
top
take 3
culture.
days to
And they're going to lose a lot of money. Stock at the credible retailers. Like, you still have your macros. It's not that expensive. They're probably saving like 200 rand on every bottle. But what about our lives, Mfethu? What about our lives?
No, it's a deep
It's serious, it's that deep. And I'm telling you now, from today onwards, every club that I go to now, if I wake up feeling sick, it's a real thing, bro.
No, but people are dying.
Everything is fake now, bro.
But how do you do that then? How do they put the fakes? I understand like the bottles, but now how do they do that with the ciders? Because
I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And the thing is, we're gonna stop going to clubs. We're gonna stop buying these. I don't even buy bottles in the club anymore. I don't. I just drink my beer. I don't drink bottles at clubs anymore. You're gonna kill us. It's getting out of hand. It's too much.
bad.
What is it?
It's bad, Joe. It's bad. The thing is, it's a waste of like 3 days because you need 3 days to recover. You need 3 days to recover.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Look.
You.
Oh, shit.
His beer is
Bro,
bad.
yesterday, we were out, and then I was like, gents, I don't want the bottle. I drank my beer. But that beer, bro, you know, normal beer has that. That one was just like, oh,
And you could
and I was like,
taste,
I'll
this
just suck
one.
it out. Just drink, boy. Just drink. You need the plug. I drank, and then we moved to like a different location, right? That's when so there's some places that I trust that I know more. They sell original. I can drink this. Do you understand me? But some other places, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm recording tomorrow. If I drink this thing, what if I don't wake up tomorrow? Because it hits you, bro. It hits you. You get home, you vomit. I've been saying this a lot of times. You vomit, you weak, you try to eat, it just
So
comes
this
back
is
out.
what you must try, ne? When I own the club, I owned a couple of clubs, actually 2. So if the waiter brings you the bottle, that was like 2 years ago. If the waiter brings you a bottle, you can scan the bottle.
Yeah?
You
Scan
can't
how?
scan.
With what? Like with
And
your
then
phone?
what?
The barcode, you can't scan.
And then what? And then what?
Izokutshela mangaveli kuscan
Ah,
akusiyo.
bro.
You tell it back.
But I guess they can once you
The
finish,
thing
they
is,
can save the bottles and they put alcohol inside.
That's the thing. They get the
Yes.
originals and man, there's fakes of everything and they make it seem like it's original. Just like fake sneakers. You scan those sneakers and it seems like it's original, but it's fake. It's fake.
Crazy.
And the thing is, these clubs know. And most of these things are coming from the fucking Pakistanis and the Chinese.
Because I was thinking when I drink beer, I wake up in the morning, I'm fresh. When I rock these bottles, like let's say I rock these bottles at night.
This is killing our
I
top
take 3
culture.
days to
And they're going to
recover.
lose a lot of money. Stock at the credible retailers. Like, you still have your macros. It's not that expensive. They're probably saving like 200 rand on every bottle. But what about our lives, Mfethu? What about our lives?
So you sell here? Yes. Yeah. So business is good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good?
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah, it's good.
Where did you come from? From Somalia?
I'm from Ethiopia.
From where?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia? Yeah, I've been to Ethiopia. Yeah. So you make a good turnover?
Yeah,
Huh? That's very good.
sure.
Okay. So you registered your shop?
Yeah,
Registered?
yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. So what can I buy here in this shop?
Yeah, you can take anything.
I can buy anything?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. So if I want a shirt, can I buy a shirt?
Shirt.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to buy a shirt.
Products, careful.
I'm really concerned. what are we really consuming? So last week I was really craving a chocolate, and I eat a lot of chocolate, so I know I was fooled. So I was lazy to take a drive, so I decided just to go to the nearest Spaza shop, and then I bought a mint crisp chocolate, and it looked funny. And honestly speaking, it tasted a bit funny. I would know because I consume a lot of chocolate. So to test my theory, I went to a Pick n Pay and bought the same chocolate. You'll see with the security barcode. And then I decided to go back to the very same Spaza shop from last week. All right. Can I have mint crisp chocolate, please? Huh? Mint crisp chocolate. Chocolate? Yeah, mint crisp. Not to confuse the two, then I snipped off the top of the wrapper. First, let's unwrap the chocolate from Pick n Pay. You can see it's brown and the color is very consistent. And then next, I take the one from the Spaza shop. You can see with the snipped top, and we open it and you can see how it looks. A total contrast from the chocolate from Pick n Pay. I put them side by side and you can see how different they are. And let's zoom in and see how different they look. Even the back, it looks exactly the same. We really have no idea of what we're eating. The South African government is really failing us, honestly speaking, where time and time again we are being sold counterfeit stuff that are not tested, that are just made we don't know where. And we're just buying because of they are cheaper. And why would they be cheaper than Pick n Pay? How are they making profit? It only makes sense that they're really manufacturing their own things.
Ke ne nke le khalema ka dilo tse tsa lena tsa makula bana makula ba irile khule ka mahara bo plastic ka mahara cold drink ha re molateng ba fethu hawa ha re molateng wa nyela Kamancho, come and look. What the fuck is this now? Sir, for sake, when I know what happened. I won't get plastic this thing. It's not open. It's I just put it here. Serious? Kamancho, man. To register the lot of water.
Yeah. This is like this one.
Yeah, like this one.
Serious?
For the people. In the name of purified water. And they are selling to the communities. Our communities are just eating or drinking water that is coming from the toilet. These people. It is clear that we must get people from health to come and see this thing. Once again, I'm taking you through this water that is coming from the toilet. It is going like that from the toilet. Here are the filters. But the source of the water is the toilet. Filth. Our people are being made to drink filth that is coming from the toilet. This cannot be tolerated. Really, it cannot. These people are selling water that we think it's purified, coming from the toilet.
What the hell is this thing? What the hell is this thing?
In a tuck shop.
What the hell is this thing? What the hell is fucking this? What the hell is this?
Purified, so-called purified, coming from the toilet. Oh, I oh, just one Nazareth. Oh, this thing is going. Oh, Jesus. These people. This is the water that they are selling for the people in the name of purified water. And they are selling to the communities. Our communities are just eating or drinking water that is coming from the toilet. These people. It is clear that we must get people from health to come and see this thing. Once again, I'm taking you through this water that is coming from the toilet. It is going like that from the toilet. Here are the filters. But the source of the water is the toilet. Filth. Our people are being made to drink filth that is coming from the toilet. This cannot be tolerated. Really, it cannot.
Ukhona ukuthi ungayenza kanjani into efana nale kumina.
Ke tshaba no gata mo re
lose the pension fund. Helen Bailey. I'm sorry, Tom.
ba tloela batho re isa go pele tabe e yone ya go di TV re bitsa mojalavo re bitsa mojalavo mo hona ra batla ya re bitsa la motheba ba tloela re lapile ke demons
Your costa pension money. Or report out of your Jojo. Come on, like
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
We need some of our who did not observe when we didn't. Who tried to join every day. Who can eat one of who can eat away. One of who can eat a Jojo inside your way. Who can eat more? Who can eat lot of money? Oh, I'll call you a secret and beat them. I cannot see what you every day. No, falling. Oh, what are you allowed to do? I don't know. I don't think it's one of them. I don't think it's one of them. Come on, phone. I don't want to know. Phone. Go on, phone. Phone. I'm too sick. Phone. Phone. I'm too sick.
ara jumpa di bodara. Arata mo jumpa di bodara. Arata mo jumpa di bodara. Ara jumpa di bodara mone. Lar kwai lar makwara kwai le level bi le ke tsele na. Ke mo tse bila. Ar makwara ara jumpa di bodara. Ara jumpa di bodara le ska tor kwai na.
Beka beka. Are ono ka. Ono. Kawana le tsheka. Ai ka beka. Ara khoma fele. Le mo mo ra ya. Are nya ka khu. Ya ma phorisa kana.
Bar kwai la masui pa di nai.
Township economy. Commander's morning. So, masingakhumbula for the past 3 years, i-Operation Dudula ibikhuluma ngama-issues mayelana nama-foreign nationals e-South Africa. But i-government yethu azange isilalele. Today ngizokhuluma ngama-issues mainly out-2 because sayinama-incidents alokhu ayenzeka recently. The first one, the hijacking of buildings in our cities, suburbs, even Guma townships. The second one is the township economy, whereby my friend, my friend, are trading, especially Guma townships. We've learned to ama buildings ayasha edrobheni, but manje abantwana bethu sebayashona because bathenga kula Pakistan, ama Bangladesh, nama Ethiopians, whatever that singababiza ngabo. But we are saying enough is enough. South Africans, let us stand up. We need to close down Spaza shop. Bangasa trade labantu emalokishini wethu because basithengisela nokudla okubolile. Operation Dudula is declaring ukuthi communities asizi-organizeni senze sure ukuthi siyazivala le itoro zangabantu bangaphandle ababuyele ezweni labo bayotrader ezweni labo. Township economy ama-South Africans kuphela. Commander's morning.
drugs. So youth are made because of the drugs. And that's why when the shop said the penalty 30 youth. Because tolerable never the shop no, youth some of the political parties are open door policies. Why can't we go to Pakistan? Why can't we go to Zimbabwe with a shop? We can't. But no, Marona was South Africa because we're looking. So, Herre tolo rega magule barna le engare le matutula re batho ara fa mo rata bona ba so bana beso nna go ya ka nna ne o ka re mošomo wa re ka bane ba ile re ba ikemiseditse ye re ka se tlogele or o re bitsa gore re di-vigilante group or re bitsa gore re batlatšotse re a sokoa ye re ka se tlogele. So we will have rebel meeting warena or to tshwara bonang ke re le maponisa tsuba di drugs it's fine, it's okay, oh, not all of them. Police station, yes. For fuck! So we are here for now. Somalia, wait for this is Monday, and then I get about way to do something. So every day we must meet up until Robo maybe go outside, regard 5 o'clock outside. Then kilo na let's bank in the no, it's going outside 5 o'clock, my party sim rakopa. Shall I tell you about so it's fine. Yeah. I think it's my voice is good. Thank you.
We've got a church in Molemoti.
Okay. Yeah.
Created to official because it's at the corner.
Yeah.
Whether I can so okay. So that look is at Taba. Yaruna because of Panabaki Barunaka. So I'm some Roko Pankere, Barcadi make a reckless call of the sailor Mariso. And at the top of an answer because of
then we're community. Some of the Tarafari details or Tavalor calling another 2010 by Lori, they will be helping us get information. Like Tabenyako Holo,
lena la go holong la batla holo re la kerekeng le batla kereke gore la wherever sekolong mara le re updateng gore ka o sane ka 5 o'clock re kopana mo ka mara yes 5 o'clock afternoon ka gore ba ba ile mosebetsi ya ge ba bua mo le bona ba kgone re joina ba want then mhloma ka o sane re tla tlo re no ro kopana ka Wednesday or ro kopana ka Thursday jwale ya mara for now because this a feature are kopaneng ka o sane ka 5 o'clock. So each one tell one. Who tell me by our goes and got 5. Okay. Okay.
Delivery, because it creates a system of no accountability. Less money reaches the front line for healthcare. And one of the other major factors that nobody wants to talk about is the fact that we have foreigners overburdening our healthcare system. In some of the maternity facilities, more than 50% of the women giving birth are foreigners. Where's the funding going to come from? When you look at NHI, nobody talks about how they are going to be funded in this healthcare system that takes care of everybody. Now, in the Portfolio Committee of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, I have a personal issue to grind in terms of femicide, because I lost my daughter the day after.
In this parliament, as members of parliament, we take that work very, very seriously. Throughout my life, I have been driven by a desire to see a better society for all people, particularly women in general, but black women in particular. And so this work I take very seriously, and it requires all of us, including myself, to be honest, to be humble, and to be a servant leader of governance. In this parliament, I serve on key portfolio committees of Home Affairs, Basic Education and Small Business Development, where I'm dedicated to advocating for reforms that strengthen our border security, combat illegal immigration. And colleagues, I have to stress this. It's easy to speak and to imagine, but once you are on the ground and you see what is happening, we've just conducted an oversight of Home Affairs. The situation is dire, colleagues. We are not tracking undocumented foreign nationals in our country. Home Affairs has no idea as to who is here or who is not. People are coming in and out of Home Affairs to ask for documentation. They are getting it. However, there are also those who just come through and nobody knows who they are, where they are, and all of that. The other dire thing that I would like colleagues to note in this regard is the fact that we cannot deport certain nationals. Let me give you an example. If somebody in Botswana commits a crime like murder and they find themselves here in South Africa and the Botswana government is looking for them, our ethos is not to deport them because our constitution does not agree with the death penalty. So we effectively can have nationals of all, and I don't mean Botswana, just Botswana, anyway, because every time we speak about illegal immigration, we are accused of being, mostly targeting black foreign nationals or foreign nationals from the African continent. In this regard, we're speaking about anyone from anywhere in the world, wherever it is that they're coming from. And this is a very huge gap in our policy.
Correctional services. Can prison be prison again? An Action SA stance that I continue to drive. Over the past week, we've conducted oversight at several prisons, and what I saw was really shocking. With foreign nationals, undocumented foreign nationals, taking up space, contributing to the overcrowding of almost over 200%. That is ridiculous. When I asked, why is this the case? We were told that we need to consult these criminals first, and based on their permission, only then can we deport them. I also want to reflect on
those people are removed from our communities, and you've seen the disaster that has happened in Naledi, in Soweto. And so lastly, finally, colleagues, I want to say that there's absolutely no sense in the fact that our townships must be run over by undocumented foreign nationals. And so my objective is to leave Parliament with laws and policies that put South Africans first, and I'm unapologetic about that. Don't get politics, politics will get you. And so the reality is that we all have a responsibility to be part of what is happening. And one of the critical things that I believe all of us here must champion is public participation. It is one of the things that is always lacking in terms of having the people of South Africa that we all, as this caucus, are going to be championing. The situation is dire, colleagues. We are not tracking undocumented foreign nationals in our country. I think now I'm going to formally let you know that I am known as the Spaza Queen. And this is because I'm unapologetic about the fact that some sectors in our society, particularly Spaza shops and SMMEs, must be reserved for South Africans. And we are going to be driving this through the campaign that we started earlier this year called #Spaza for Locals. We are absolutely unapologetic about that because it's not enough to say Abahambe. What must replace it? We want to champion the fact that South Africans must be capacitated, enabled to be able to fill that gap when those people are removed from our communities. And you've seen the disaster that has happened in Naledi, in Soweto.
Over to you.
The mood was somber as friends and families of the 5 innocent lives that were cut short within minutes of each other assembled at the Naledi Community Hall, grappling with unimaginable grief. The children have been described by their families as smart young minds who used to play together.
Re rata ho leboha tshehetso e re fumaneng setjhabeng ka kakaretso. And what has transpired mo Naledi ke kobo anela, this thing is happening all over South Africa.
He says what has transpired here in Naledi is happening all over South Africa and it needs to be fixed.
It is so sad. They've left a gaping hole in the, in the hearts of the families. Their giggles, their laughter, their up and downs, their noise.
There's a lot that I'm actually say about Karabo, but all I'm going to say right now, your laughter, your naughtiness, and your quietness. There was this one particular song that Karabo used to love to sing. But who's going to sing for us now? Since he's no more.
He says it is sad because they don't know what really took their children's lives. She says she would like to thank the teachers for doing a great job in helping them to raise a beautiful soul like Monica. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has called on the law enforcement agencies to leave no stone unturned until they find the root cause of the poison that allegedly led to this tragic death of the children.
That those that have been assigned this difficult task of finding the cause of this death will execute their mandates with the necessary speed that we've given them. We've asked all the law enforcement agencies not to be narrow in their investigations, that their investigations must go beyond the boundaries of Naledi, that these products were produced somewhere. We also have to find the producers of this product, and we've solicited the Consumer Council to establish a hearing immediately to work on these issues.
City of Johannesburg MMC for Health and Social Development says they will be visiting the affected elephant family to offer them psychosocial support.
It is very sad indeed. It is sad already that we are burying the 5 already, and to hear the tragic loss of another child, meaning now the total number is equal to 6. It's really painful, and as a city, it's very painful for us to lose such young children who we are looking forward for and hoping that they will improve the lives of their families.
The funeral details of the 6th child, Katlego Oliphant, will be announced in due course. Puseletso Mokoena, SABC News, Naledi in Soweto.
And so lastly, finally, colleagues, I want to say that there's absolutely no sense in the fact that our townships must be run over by undocumented foreign nationals. And so my objective is to leave Parliament with laws and policies that put South Africans first, and I'm unapologetic about that. We want to improve our education system, we want to defend our borders, and we want to safeguard our democracy. And so finally, I hope my contribution will help pave the way for a truly inclusive and prosperous South Africa. And I thank you all for your indulgence. Thank you so much.
A very somber time for the community of Naledi after the deaths of 6 children from suspected poisoning after allegedly eating food items bought from their local Spaza shop. With investigations and inspections continuing on what could have caused the deaths, this tragic incident has yet again brought to light concerns regarding non-compliance with regulations by some informal business traders, including Spaza shop owners. This morning we take a closer look at what has happened to Spaza shops, which are the backbone for many South African communities. Let's cross to Sakina. She is in Naledi. Sakina, what have you got for us this morning? And a very good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Leanne, and thank you for that introduction, because I think it certainly captures the reason for us being here this morning,
including us as the community as well. It looks like we like entertaining the issues of fake goods that are seen or found in these foreign national tax shops, and we post them on TikTok and on Facebook, and there is, after that, it's just a joke and nothing else. It's been 10 years, more than 10 years, we've been fighting the issue that these people, they are selling things that have expired. Just only that, I believe that it's supposed to be a crime, because you cannot sell food that is expired to the community. And nothing has ever, we have never had any kind of any arrest on all these tragedies that are happening. Last year we lost children in the same space here, and when the results they came, the pathology, they said that it was not from the biscuits. And now we are saying there's alleged that they ate snacks that had been poisoned, and now the answers, they are saying that on the bodies of the kids they have found a rat poison. So now the question is that who will take the blame? Because somebody here has done a crime, and that crime has cost the lives of our 6 little children, of which now it's really not safe, not only for kids, but for everyone in the community. So we have tried our best, we have fought so much in terms of let us sit down with all the organizations as they are, Bangladesh, Somalians. They have a full structure of executives that come, let us sit down, let us talk. Where are you buying your goods? Why is that your goods are different from the others? Why is that there are so many rumors? Because we can't say, because we don't have facts. Why there are so rumors that you are selling things that have expired, you are selling things that are faked? And then what are these things doing to our community? Because it's not only about children. I can understand for children that their immune system might be weak, but what is happening to us? What is going to happen in 5 years to come on this food that is being consumed from these tax shops? So it has been such a very bad experience. And with our own government, the only time they will stand up is when there is death.
So the question then is, you say you've been fighting this fight for more than 10 years. How have you been fighting it? Because it seems very reactionary. You just mentioned the incident of children who died last year, and things just after a while went back to normal. Here we are again. 6 children have now lost their lives. So when you say you've been fighting, how have you been fighting, and what have been the outcome of that?
Our fight was that we were looking for the source. Where is the source of the goods that is being supplied in the township? And we were then told that they buy in bulk, where we all buy there. And they said that they've got a buying power. And then we then asked our own government, it was still Premier Makura then, he then agreed that in Soweto he will bring a warehouse where all the Spazas, especially South African owned, they can make sure that they get the right goods that they can supply to the community. And because of the instability of our government, the time he left and there was another premier coming in, that project had now just faded away. Because until we fix the issue, that why is that all the people that are supplying food, even drinks, they are out of Soweto. None of them is inside of Soweto. We don't have a warehouse in Soweto where we can say this is where we find our food, and this is where all the regulations in terms of health inspection, it is properly done. Because at the end of the day, yes, you are into business, but at the end of the day, you must also take care of the people that you are selling to. You cannot sell to people that they must die. Then who's going to be your customer?
Well, many questions, and of course we're hoping to get answers. Some of the questions that Ms. Kambule speaks about, we will have government authorities who will come through to answer some of those questions. We will have representatives of some of the foreign-owned Spaza shops coming through as well to talk about their practices. The question that Ms. Kambule asked, where do they buy their bulk supplies from? Because apparently everybody buys from the same place, but maybe not. So all of those questions still remain to be answered.
SHOPRITE's You Save eKasi initiative is a fascinating development in South Africa's retail landscape. You Save eKasi, which translates to My Community, is designed to serve the informal trade sector, particularly in townships and rural areas. These small format stores are built using shipping containers, making them flexible and easy to set up in areas where traditional stores might not be viable. The You Save eKasi stores offer a range of basic goods at very competitive prices, catering to lower-income communities. They also provide essential services like money transfers, utility payments, and even mobile grocery stores that can reach underserved areas. This approach not only brings affordable products closer to consumers, but also supports the local economy by integrating with the existing informal trade networks. It's a smart move by SHOPRITE to tap into the lucrative informal economy, which is valued at around R197 billion. By doing so, they are not only expanding their market reach, but also contributing to the economic development of these communities. What do you think about this initiative? That's a fantastic idea. Integrating You Save eKasi stores with the traditional Spaza shops could create a powerful synergy. By partnering with local Spaza shop owners, SHOPRITE could offer a franchise-like model that leverages their supply chain and quality standards while maintaining the community-centric approach of Spaza shops. This model could provide several benefits. Enhanced supply chain. Spaza shops would have access to a more reliable and diverse range of products at competitive prices. Quality assurance. SHOPRITE standards could help ensure that products sold in Spaza shops meet certain quality benchmarks. Community empowerment. Local entrepreneurs would still run their businesses, fostering a sense of ownership and community involvement. Market expansion. SHOPRITE could expand its reach without directly competing with existing Spaza shops, creating a win-win situation. This approach could strengthen the informal trade sector and provide consumers with better access to quality goods and services. It's a great way to blend modern retail practices with traditional trade, benefiting both the business and the community.
Well, we shared the story with you of more than 6,000 businesses being assisted with over 58 billion rand in funding. This announcement was made by the Small Business Development Minister, Stella Ndabeni-Abrams, and this was since the introduction of the Spaza Shop Support Program. To discuss further, as well as also to get some commentary on the U-turn on the exemption for Eskom in terms of its declaration on its financials, I'm joined by Tebogo Klaas, who's CEO of the Chartered Entrepreneurs and President of Public Interest SA. Good evening to you and welcome. This is a space, we'll start off with the Spaza Shop and the investment into what's termed the township economy. It's a space you're deeply familiar with. Your thoughts on the announcement that was made?
Yes, thanks for having me. Imam, the question is, according to Nielsen's study that was done released sometime last year, mid last year, there's over 150,000 Spaza shops in South Africa. Now, if 10,000 applied, which makes it less than 10%, and only 6,000 of them, or around 6,000 of them, were granted, it means a paltry number of Spazas either were able to apply or knew about this scheme, or were interested at all, or had the means to actually even apply. What begs the question is, what happened to the rest? Were the rest of the Spaza shops okay, they didn't need any assistance? One. And then secondly, what motivated government, or what criteria did government use to grant the kind of assistance to the 6,000? We do know for a fact that there was some exclusions. For example, if your Spaza shop was repairing TVs, radios, phones, or whatever it is, you would have been excluded. So what is the definition of a Spaza? Is it only those that sell perishables? Is it only those who sell retail food, or would a Spaza shop also include those that are not necessarily selling the kind of items that I've just mentioned? I think government ought to come out clearly and explain what it is that qualification criteria they use and the methodology they use to access this funding.
In a conversation with the minister yesterday on the criteria that was used and what research was used to underpin how the exclusions or inclusions and the qualifying criteria would have been made, the minister, directed us to studies that would have been done in research procured by CIFA, for example, who is one of the DFIs that are involved in the space. From what you're saying, Tebogo, it gives the sense that both the government policy and position in terms of the action that they've now taken is not very well informed.
I doubt it, and look, it's well-intentioned, but whether the efficacy of this intervention will be realized to the extent that it could have been, it is open to debate. But what we know for a fact is that it is a fact that they haven't reached all the Spazas, or to the extent that the Spaza would have wished to have access to this. And also, listen to this. They took some of the, I think it's about 100 million of that was diverted to disaster relief. You ask yourself, why was that allocation rerouted to disaster relief in KZN? And yet we still don't even have reports as to what exactly was used to help SMEs who are affected by disaster in the KZN area. So we still believe that government could and should have done more and can still do more to ameliorate the adverse impact that SMEs find themselves in for various reasons. But what is also reminds us is what happened with the COVID relief fund. You remember how disastrous that was, where the banks were tasked with distribution or making access to COVID relief fund. It failed. I think it was about an amount of, I can't remember how many billions. It failed. There was no uptake. Less than 5% of that was actually disbursed. So we ask ourselves, what is it that government was trying to achieve out of this? Or was it just another exercise of dispensing money and patronage?
Again, as you share further, it certainly seems to ring a little more hollow, pardon me, in terms of the dispersion of those funds, who's included, and this wide gap that exists between them and those who still exist in the space who operate Spaza shops. I'll share with you one of the conversation threads in response to what we shared on our social media around this announcement, was that there was this concern expressed that were these genuine, if the intention was to empower South African-owned Spaza shops, provide sustainable support that would allow their businesses to thrive into the future, there was a sense that, there was a lot of fronting, and it's something the Minister acquiesced to yesterday. How rife would you say this is in the space? And again, share with us some data around the true profile of ownership, particularly when it comes to Spaza shops.
I'm glad you're raising that. In fact, I saw some reports over the weekend. I can't remember exactly which publication it was, but it was claimed that Spaza shops that were owned by foreigners, especially Pakistanis, would have fared around number 5. I can't remember what the numbers were. But most of the Spaza shops were owned by South Africans, and then followed by Zimbabweans and then Mozambicans and so forth. But you ask yourself, even those Spaza shops that are purportedly owned by South Africans, in the majority, it is owned by South Africans on paper. Oftentimes you find that it has been leased to a foreigner who then runs the Spaza shop. Then you ask yourself, what checks and balances were made to ensure that that relief package went to where it is needed? Or was it only going to the owner of the Spaza on paper without really filtering through to the real owner or manager of the Spaza? So that is another question. Obviously, government wouldn't have the means to scrutinize all that. And also an important factor is that we've got an ID system that is also compromised. So it is very well easy for somebody to claim South African citizenship, especially in the Spaza environment, when they actually are not even South African. So it is left to anybody's imagination as to what amount was actually filtered through to the real owners of Spazas and the efficacy thereof, and which is, the jury will be out on that. You will never get any answers, I doubt, on that score.
Certainly worth another debate, another round of debate and discussion on a really important segment of the South African economy, and an as yet unanimated or under-animated engine room for economic growth and a contributor to our country's GDP. Tebogo Klaas, thank you for your analysis and your input. We appreciate it tonight.